give you all as much work time as possible. So just a reminder, my name is Jamie Bartovich, and I'm here from BOCES to go over this evidence-based claims, which stems from the Shift 5 writing from sources. So if you turn to the next page in your PowerPoint, that's what this is. It's just a Wordle that captures all of the pieces of Shift 5. And really Shift 5 is about getting kids to write from sources using evidence to support their claims that they make. So we want kids to do this through answering text-dependent questions, performing short mini research projects, and doing a close reading of a text and evaluating the claim and evidence that the author is presenting. So just to review from our last session, the anchor standards that we're sort of working off of is the reading standard that states kids need to read closely to determine what the text says explicitly and to make logical inferences. And then the other claims build upon this further and then ask kids to create their own writing pieces in which they write arguments to support claims with valid reasoning and draw evidence from informational text to support that analysis and reflection. So we're just going to talk a little bit about, a little more in depth about evidence-based writing and also discussion. So to have kids write claims and generate evidence, we obviously need to look for topics that lend themselves to kids making a decision about a topic and making a claim about that topic. Whether it's analyzing art or analyzing music, analyzing the results of a lab, something where kids can make an evaluation or a claim about something. And students can develop claims and argue their points through many different avenues. So if they have short and focused writing, that could be answering text-dependent questions, short responses, working through DBQs, things of that nature. In speaking, they could have a debate, they could have a large group discussion or just a small triad group discussion. They could participate in things like tabletop Twitter, multimedia presentations, all of those things to present their claims and back it up with supporting evidence. Extended writing could be like research papers, position papers, problem solution essays, scientific writing, op-ed articles, and so forth. And then lastly, we talked about in the session earlier today, having kids create their own artwork or photos that show a claim being made. For example, when you examine a political cartoon, that cartoonist is making a claim about something going on in politics or some sort of current event that's occurring. So we can ask kids to start making their own political cartoons, their own artwork that makes a statement or a claim. So this is not included in your PowerPoint, but I shared this with the last group, so you might want to write down this website. There's some resources you can go to that can help you find articles and additional pieces of writing if you need those. So one is newsela.com. It's a free website, but you need to sign up to use it, and I'll show that to you really quickly. So on newsela.com, you have War and Peace, Science, Kids, Money, Law, Health, and the Arts. Those are all the topic repositories they have for you to find current event articles in any of those realms. The nice thing about it is you can ask it to differentiate the articles, and they're differentiated in an authentic way. So they'll take it in the original form as it was printed in a newspaper or journal, and then they will rewrite it to meet different lexile needs. If you really wanted to, you could even assign these to students. Students can register for free, and then you can assign them all online to kids. They do not need an email for this, and it's all free. The only thing that's a little bit difficult about using this is as of now, they have not further refined the search. So it usually shows the most current articles first, so you just have to search by topic up in the search field. And if you have any questions about how to use this, you can email me anytime and I can walk you through how to use it, but it's very user-friendly, and again, it's free. The other resource that I want to just mention is you all have a subscription through your library to the in-context databases, and the science one is the newest one. So you have science, biography, U.S. history, world history, and I think biography is on there twice, I apologize. If you go to this online database, and Emily can help you access this, you can search by topic or standard, and then it will come up with related articles, images, videos, encyclopedia entries, and podcasts all related to that topic in one spot. It's really quite amazing. So again, if you go to your library homepage, you can see they're all at the bottom. Gale Biography and Context, Science, U.S. History, and World History. Has anyone in here used these yet? Okay. So I definitely would recommend checking these out. They're very helpful. It kind of takes the search time out of you finding stuff because it finds all of those different kinds of media types and puts them in one place for you. And again, it's all free. So the next thing I want to talk about is giving you some ideas of how you can refine the writing tasks that you came up with in the last session. So I asked everybody to just quickly brainstorm what's the topic you're going to be teaching, what text you anticipate using, and what's the writing summative task that you envision using. So today what I want to show you is how those might look all finalized. So what I did is I lifted the examples from Appendix B from the Common Core State Standards, and you can find those on Engage New York. I did not print all of them because it's about this thick, so I just lifted the ones that I thought would apply to you today. So what I want to show you is what the state came up with, what their full example is, referencing a text, and then how this might look modified, and then obviously you can just insert your own texts and tasks in the blanks. So I pulled some science examples. There's a social studies example. There's another science example. And so you can use any of these as sort of a starting point today if you'd like. And feel free to make some instructional decisions about how to frame these. I know some teachers say, I want to tell the kids they need 3 specific pieces of evidence, or they have to use 1 primary source, 2 secondary. These are malleable. I just wanted to give you all a clear starting point. Are there any questions about these? Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is how might this all look put together? How do we get to that summative rating task? So I pulled together an example from physics. So let's say that your topic was conservation of momentum, and that your text was an article or video about momentum. So before the task, you would have students engage in a close reading with that article or video. You would guide them through it through text-dependent questions that were both written and discussed. And then after that, you would ask the kids to evaluate it. What claim is this author making? How do you know? The how do you know is basically what's the evidence? What do they present? If you wanted to take it to the next level, you could have them then analyze that evidence. Is that relevant evidence? How do you know? And you could take it even further. After that, you would either provide a lab for the kids, or I don't know if any of you ever have students come up with ideas for labs, but the kids would then test something to test the theory that they learned about. They would perform the lab, and then they would compose a lab report. So that's how you could have this writing task sort of stretched out. You have the reading, the modeling, the text-dependent questions, leading ultimately to a hands-on experiment followed by a lab report in which the kids make their own claim. Are there any questions about that or ideas or suggestions? Okay, so for the remaining time today, I'm just going to ask that you look back at the ideas that you drafted from the last session. And today, what I want to ask for you to do is to narrow it down in your grade level or topic that you're working in. Determine a text that you anticipate using. And then start working towards adding those literacy standards. So you all should have one of these, either from the last session or I copied more for today. And I'm going to ask that you try to identify at least one writing standard and one reading standard that you could address for this final task that you're going to ask kids to do with something that you already teach. So you don't have to worry about coming up with anything new. You can work with your content that you already use. If you're not sure yet what article you want to use or artwork or whatever text you choose, you can leave that blank and just say article about momentum, article about Civil War, and you can locate that later. But I am going to ask that you try to work on identifying the literacy standards and start to refine the task. And again, you can use these as examples if you'd like. So are there any questions? Okay, so for the last session, I took snapshots just on my phone and uploaded them of what you all came up with on your chart paper. So I'll pass these around to your group so you can reference it if you're not sure what it is that you all came up with. and I'll just put some at each table. Okay, so you guys have the remaining time to work.